Check, check, check. I really don't care. Check, check, check. All right. Right. Just about to get started. Want to thank ladies and gentlemen for your attendance. We're about to get started on this week's Village Square podcast. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Village Square, your community's podcast for Wednesday, March 10th, 2021, live on AfroSurgeRadio.com. I'm your host, Marlon Solomon, here to get you over the hump, through the week, early in the morning, into work, with all the information you need to know in the African diaspora. So, we about to get started on today, but the state of the village is tripping. Why are we tripping? We're tripping because it seems that despite all that's going on in the world and the progress we made, it seems as if some people just want to trip and do things that don't make any sense. Right? There's a lot of stuff that we could be doing right now to curb the coronavirus, to increase like voter registration and move forward to a more diverse world. But some people are tripping and they don't want these things. They want to lift the masks. At this very critical moment, we are doing worse. We're doing about as good as we were doing in November. Oh, no, sorry, but October. Like early August. So yeah, worse than the summer of last year. And we are still thinking that this is the time that we should pardon that. That's where we're in Boston, Okay. Seems like the community is tripping. Right? So we really need to look at all the things that is going on in our community and understand that there is no way that we can continue to avoid looking at the science, not doing the common sense approaches that are going to make our community safer. These are the things that we need to look at. And if we can't do these things properly, and if we can't work together for common sense solutions, stimulus bill with all the 9.5 million jobs, we're still thinking, oh, well, it's too much. We don't want to give too much. What is this policy that we are trying to give? Like, we want everybody to be hungry so that they'll work harder for us mentality. Is that really going to work? Like, you really think people don't want to do the best? They don't want the dignity? They do. So like I say, the state of the village is tripping, and it is quite upsetting to see it, but we got to keep on doing what we do. All right. So our first let's get started with the show. All right. Before we get started, I want to give this public announcement on our COVID-19 resource hub. Please check it out, www.afroamerican1.org/COVID-19. It's early in the morning, y'all.
Adapting to the new normal has taken our family time. As work has changed, so has our lifestyle. We try to stay healthy, exercise, and always have our mask on going out. When COVID-19 began to impact our family, it hit us in ways we couldn't imagine. After the loss of my mother, we weren't sure what challenges could follow. As the vaccination has rolled out, we've done the research to see if it may work best for our family. Until then, our family has tried to remain active in keeping our mental health strong. Together, our family is going to try to remain healthy and informed.
All right. So part of our COVID-19 response has been to liaise with community leaders and give them the tools and educate them so that they can help their community out better. And we've been doing a great job. I want to send a shout out to AME Baptist Church. I want to send a shout out to St. Mary's Episcopal. I want to send out to the Haitian Multicultural Center. So we've been meeting a lot of people, Hyde Park, Main Streets, and these community leaders. We've been, giving them either flyers or presenting to their communities. So we want to thank you for the support. And for those who want more support, please, we have, like I said, we're offering free consultation services. So free program development, webinars, consultation, contact tracing info, vaccination info, COVID-19 financial info. These are some of the topics that we can help with. And we want to encourage you to do your research and make the decision, right? Join the fight against COVID-19. That's our campaign. We want to encourage our community members, just, you've got to do this research, right? As I'm not here to force anything down your throats or tell you what you need to do because I'm so smart. I'm here to tell you it's very simple. Just do the research. And if you do the research and you see what's happening in your community, trust me, especially the Black and brown communities, we're the ones getting hit the most. These are our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, our family members, our loved ones. So why don't we join the fight? All we're asking, stay fit, exercise, mental health, right? Make sure you're exercising, going out, conversing and being social, even if it's on Zoom. I know it's not the best, but at least we still get to connect, right? Eat a healthy diet. I need to eat a healthier diet. Everybody should, try to see what healthy things they can do. Try to stay away from salt and sugar. These are things we should be doing anyway, right? Right, people. So wash your hands. We all know about that. We don't want to spread it around. Wear a mask. You can double up the mask. I know sometimes it's hard to breathe, but when you're going into a high contact area, it's very important that we do that, right? Socially distance. Very, very important, as we all know. Stay 6 feet apart. But it's not just about staying 6 feet apart. This virus is airborne. So we have to also stay away from indoor crowds. Don't be in restaurants, right? Where people are eating. They can't wear masks. They're just expelling the virus. Contact trace. You have an infectious period of 10 days. That's when you have to stay away from people. You also have to remember that when you have symptoms, that means that you've been infectious probably for 3 days before that. So we need you to remember who you've been around, so you can give them a call and tell them that they need to be careful and stay away from others until and quarantine for their 10 days. Vaccinate. This is a lot of fear going on in the community about vaccinations, and I understand that for different reasons, how fast the vaccine was brought into place, right? Or they just simply don't trust the government, right? And so maybe, hey, if it's, take the flu shot too. That also helps, right? We just don't want our hospitals to fill up. Once they fill up, that's a lack of services. And even if you have something like having a baby, it could be compromised, right? This message is brought to you by the Boston Public Health Commission. We urge you to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at COVID-19 at Afro-American1.org. And one other quick service announcement before we get into the show. Afro-American Academy, our online educational project online cultural resource. We're starting our first summer session, and June 28th, and we want you to be there. Please go online and subscribe to our YouTube channel and see all the educational content that we are pumping out there. All right. Now, on to the show. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Right? We have 527,699. That's how we always start off our coronavirus report. With 527, right? Probably another, it last week. Where did I put it? Yeah. Last week we had 516. So about 666. So basically we've got about 9,000 more people are no longer with us from this week to last week's episode. Every day I try to come on here and talk to you guys and go. It is not about numbers. It's bigger than numbers. I wish it was these are just some numbers we're calculating that mean blades of grass, but they're not blades of grass. They're not just your average everyday pencils or remote controls or hats. These are people. Your brothers, your sisters. And we've lost another 9,000 of these people. Somebody's crying somewhere because of this coronavirus. In Massachusetts, we had 1,263 cases, which is a whole lot. I don't know what happened last week. They had a big drop of 3. They only had 301. But, what happens is that every day that these numbers get reported, especially if they're from the weekend, they dip, they go up and down based on what they're getting out there. We had 21 deaths on the 6th. This information is from the 6th. So a couple of days ago. But I think yesterday's was also 220. Right? In Texas, they had really going down. They have 5,400 cases, 184 deaths. The whole United States on the 6th of March had 1,866 deaths. That's a day. And the world had 7,213 deaths. So, how do I say? We are coming down. I can't tell you that we're not coming down. We are coming down. But where are we? Are we doing great? No, we're not. And that's where it's important that we step up to the plate and realize where we are. We can't sit here and, it's like you cut off your arm and you're bleeding. Blood just coming. I know this is kind of gross. Right? And then you now say, okay, let's change it to cakes. That's a gross. That was just too gross, my brothers and sisters. Let's change it to cakes. Let's say we're going to have 1,000 cakes. I'm going to eat 1,000 cakes a year. But then I now cut it down. Well, I'm going to eat only 750 cakes a year. Like, man, that's still a lot of cakes. But I'm doing better than the 1,000 cakes. But 1,000 cakes was ridiculous. I know some of you are like, man, I would like 1,000 cakes. It's true. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on. So we've got to continue to be vigilant. We've got to continue to worry about it. We've got to continue to focus on what we're doing. And do you know what this week is, y'all? Do you know what this week is? This week is 1 year. Can you imagine all these lockdowns, everything this is 1 year anniversary. I think tomorrow, the 11th, is 1 year that we shut down travel from Europe. Right? This is the week that everybody stopped everything, the shutdown, the lockdown is when everything started. Unbelievable. And in that year, we've lost 527,699 as of yesterday. You can count it like, that's one of the saddest parts about this whole pandemic is how we've gotten used to saying that there's going to be close to 2,000 people, well, maybe 1,800, 1,700 people that die today. Like clockwork, like the sun is going to rise in the morning. And I keep on harping on this. I keep on talking about this because I want you all to get the feeling behind it. It's not just numbers. Right? Now we're even seeing a small uptick. I've been telling you we've been having a decline for the past 6 weeks or so, right? Since January. And it's now plateauing. It's no longer going down. It's now kind of staying steady. And in some places, a little uptick. Now, what's the uptick? There's concern that it's the variants, especially the variant called, I think, B117. That is the name of the variant that they first found. Doesn't mean it originated from, but at least they first found in the UK. Now, B117, what can I say about it? It's more deadly and spreads way faster. The spread faster part is actually the most difficult of the two. What does that mean? Because the spreading fast is just a numbers game. The more people it spreads, the more people it kills, right? I compare it to a car. A car is not deadly when it's standing still or going slow. But the faster it goes, the more deadly it becomes. Same thing with this coronavirus. So The fear and what's happening is that this rapid spread of the B11 UK variant is so much fast that it's now the old coronavirus is not really dangerous as this one. So that it's taking over. So soon we will reach a level where we have more of the variants than the original coronavirus. So this is why what is happening across the United States of America, and this is above the average frustration, let's put it like that as well, because there's frustration all over the world. People want to work. People are tired of being on Zoom. I know I'm about to go crazy on Zoom. I'm just zoomed out. I'm tired. But it is what it is, and we got to do what we got to do because we have to stay safe, and we don't have to stay safe much longer because it's only going to be another 2-3 months, and all of us can basically kind of go back to our old lives to an extent, which means that we can still go to places, but maybe like we'll still wear our masks, right? We're going to be careful not to go, I wouldn't still feel comfortable just going into all kinds of super packed restaurants and going to big parties, right? But it is still something that, we're going to have to, contend with. It's just that at least we'll still be able to go out. Because I'm telling you, that's one thing I told everybody. Everybody in my life, I'm like, man, the things I used to take for granted before, I'm not taking it granted for. It's summertime. I want to do stuff. All right. So, and the funny part, the politicization of the coronavirus is still rearing its head. And now all the Confederate states are out there, and Republican states, my bad. They're out there burning masks, having burned mask parties and open up Texas parties, and they're all getting back to it. I'm like, what is going on here? Really, what is going on here? Like, are they really, little kids out there by the burning barrels, throwing their mask into the barrels. Today, Texas is removing its mask restriction, and business can operate at full capacity. When the variants are out, we're on the track. About 10% of the United States population has been fully vaccinated. Somewhere at 18 to 20% is where we are in regards to partial, meaning people have just taken their first dose, which is why the Johnson & Johnson is so important, because if all the vaccines were like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is only one dose to get fully vaccinated, right now it would already be at 20%. Remember, we're trying to get to herd immunity. Herd immunity means about 70 to 80% of the population has it. So the virus has nowhere to hide and it cannot spread. Right? And it's at this point, and in fact, I think they said Texas has a 10% positivity rate. 10% of everybody that test positive, that test in Texas is positive. Then you now have 8% vaccination in Texas, and they're doing this now. Remember, it's trying to get to 70%. So even if you add some of the people that have some sort of immunity because they got the virus before, doesn't change the price of tea in China. It's going to be these variants. We need to be very careful. You see, it's like we've been fighting this battle and we've been beating the original coronavirus down. Okay, so now we think we got it, but the coronavirus, the new one, is out there. And it could just be a matter of 2 or 3, 4 or 5 weeks, and we start seeing a crazy uptick again, because the non-wearing of masks is asking for it. My brothers and sisters, this is more effective. Wearing this mask properly is more effective than wearing this mask is more effective than even anything else you want to do. It's more effective than the vaccine. It's more effective than anything. Okay, this is what you've got to realize. This is what we've got to realize. This is not a joke. You wear your mask, you stay safe. You wear your mask, you stay safe. You do what you got to do, and that's how it's done. Now, I don't know what to tell people. If you can't just take it for what it is, then you can't just take it for what it is. That's the best that we can do. But we want you to understand that this is very important. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Okay? Wear your mask. All right? Texas. Just can't stop being surprising. It is something about the community. These communities, they really just don't like any kind of, they just don't like any kind of regulation. That's why they didn't like the electronic regulation. It's just sad, man. It's just overall sad. But anyway, carry on with the show. So they dropped their masks, even though the CDC is stressing not only that they use masks, but they've actually put out their guidelines for when you're fully vaccinated. What does it mean? Now, basically, it means that, right, when you take the vaccine, you still can get the virus, and you still can get spread it to other people, but it's very, very low. Okay. Once you're vaccinated, it's a very, very low chance. But there's a little controversy actually right now with the CDC. And what it is that they have also said that you shouldn't travel, right? Now, that doesn't make sense, right? Because if it's very low amount of COVID-19 that you'll be able to spread and contract, then why can't you travel? Right now, this is also a PR thing. Public health is a PR thing. It's not just your typical, it's not just a typical, go on the mask, do what you need to do. No, it's not just that. You have to be very careful. So if you tell everybody something, you're going to have to understand people are going to take it the wrong way. And what they're scared about, that if they tell people, okay, you can travel, then they will go, oh yeah, we can travel. Even though they haven't been vaccinated, it's just going to encourage more activity. And actually, that's my same argument with the schools. Yeah, you may be able to keep the schools, the students, focus on the students, but there are a lot of other supply chain businesses that will now, Uber drivers, bus drivers, people are going to be coming together for all other manners of things, just in order to keep this virus, just in order to keep the schools going, so the virus will naturally spread. And once it's spreading, we're going to have more deaths. Now, the question is, okay, right now, what we're saying is that those 21 deaths, that's just too bad, because we needed to carry on with our education and everything else. That's what we're saying. And I always try to tell people that because it's easy to say, oh, but we have to go to school. We can't just be doing. You're saying that at the expense of somebody dying. Okay. And you can't just sit there and say that, yes, I understand that. I guess that's just what we have to accept. But to have it like it's okay to just be like, oh, well, we're trying. People try to avoid that. So I don't want to subscribe to that. All right. Now the vaccinations, they're ramping up all over the community, right? And although there's a lot of hesitancy, I don't even like I told you, with black and brown people, I don't like to say hesitancy because that's a white word. That's a word that helps white people feel, describe it in a way that doesn't affect their sensibilities. But really the word is fear. And I actually found some more proof on that. Now, in the reopening of schools, it's something like 67%. I saw it on CNN. 67% of white people are like, yes, the schools need to be reopened. We need to send our kids back to school. Black people is 46%. That's 64 to 46, nearly 20% difference. Say we would like to send our kids to school. So what's the drop? Why is the drop? Because I feel it's the same thing as the hesitancy that they're trying to describe. You see, it's not hesitancy, it's a general fear and mistrust of white people. And they don't want to say that. Black people live in with these institutions, and they help there. It's what institution has treated black people right. Remember, this is what the whole Jim Crow is about. You make laws so that the institutions have to implement these laws and policies. And when they do this, if it's been racial, then it's not the fire department is helping out the white communities more than the black community. So we don't trust the fire department. The police department, we know that they treat the white communities better than they treat the black communities. Okay. The healthcare, they treat the white communities better than they treat the black communities. Okay. So all these things are all lumped into one. It's not like, oh, it's just vaccine no, it's white people hesitancy. It's white people fear and general mistrust. So now that you're saying that the vaccine, we don't trust the vaccine. Oh, you said we should come back to school. Oh, we don't trust the school will do us the right way. And it is a general ideology that has been put in our African diaspora communities that we're always going to get the bottom end of the stick. We do not trust what it is that is called the United States of America because we think that is synonymous with being white. And that's a very important factor to a lot of the progress that's going to be made moving forward is the acceptance by the white community that this is not hesitancy. This is fear, racial fear that permeates every aspect. And people are dying because they don't want to take the vaccine. People in school children are going to suffer because they don't trust the school system. Crimes are not reported because we can't call the police. They're never, you call the police, you could be the one that go to jail. Right? So that's what's going on. Massachusetts is opening up they're saying that actually April 5th is when they're saying, that's literally a little less than a month from now, that all elementary school will be full in person. And by the 28th of April, that's the end of April, K through 12 should be open for 5-day-a-week in-person schooling, right? That's going to require a lot of vaccinations, and apparently Massachusetts have their educators, they booked 25,000 vaccination appointments for their educators. So they want to educate the school teachers. See, now this is what makes sense. I think vaccinate vaccinate the school children. I mean, no, not the school children. Sorry, they have not tested for the school children yet. But vaccinate the grown-ups. And get this vaccination level to a level where I think is respectable. Now, if we're 50%, right? I'm not saying it's completely safe, but I don't think we need to wait to 70, 80% before we open up the floodgates. When are the children going to be vaccinated? They're still doing the tests. So for those who say, oh, that it's about, that the thing hasn't been tested. So that's what they're doing. They're doing it for the kids right now. It is extremely important that we start understanding how best we as a community can start moving to educate getting our kids and our schools open, because the kids are suffering. If you have any kid that has an IEP or any issue like that, once they any kid that has an IEP or anything like that, once the IEP, once that they're not in school, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them. So anyway, now some of the things that I did a little scope of research on, to see what was going on in the world, and I found something very interesting. And this is something that we're all going to have to start looking at, because I don't like some of the things. I just feel like, oh, it's my freedoms, my freedoms. I get it, but in the long story, you don't have the rights and the freedom to endanger others. That is an established fact. So if you don't wear your mask, if you don't do the right thing, you'll be endangering others, right? So we have to think about that. But one of the things that has really about freedoms is our freedom to move around and restrictions. And there's China this last week issued the world's first vaccine passport, meaning it will document that, oh, you've taken your vaccine, so you're safe to travel on an airplane. Now, this is where it's really going to get into civil liberties, and I get it. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. I've had I've had people and loved ones die from this coronavirus, and I think it's not, who cares? Like, one of the things I always say, like, who are you? Who's looking at you? Like, I don't want my data to be, nobody cares about you. You're taking yourself too seriously. So because of your freedom, we should risk millions of lives? I don't think that that's the right move. But so I'm not really so against the vaccine passport. Hey, if you need to go to a job, I would like to know that everybody in there has, if I'm going to an establishment or restaurant, I would like to know that all the people there have been vaccinated, so that I don't have to feel like I can get disease or anybody. And because, if it's an establishment, then they have a duty to keep me safe. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying that you need a passport to go into the restaurant, but I think to work there, yeah, you should. Because you're there to serve the public, and the public should not be endangered possibly by an unvaccinated worker. But these are all things that we just have to think of down the road. It's, it is what it is. So anyway, one of the things that's going on now, we're very happy to hear it, is that Biden has passed this historic stimulus bill. Or it passed the Senate, it's going back to the House, and actually today they're going to finish up the signing of the stimulus bill. And it's going to be, I think it's a real good thing. It's historic. It is helping poor people. It's going to eliminate child poverty in half. Are you serious? Wow. And it's going to help common people get by in the toughest time. And I really think that this really helps. It really helps just people like you and me, and it's probably going to pass today. But the economic impact is apparently going to be historic. There's going to be tax credits in there. They're going to be, of course, the $1,400. It's going to be, I think they're extending the unemployment to September. What they're hoping is by then, everybody will be vaccinated. The communities, the businesses will start getting back online. There'll be a lot of hiring, and boom, there we go. Right? And let's hope so, because right now, 9.5 million people are still out of a job since last year, this time. And at this rate of recovery, we've started recovering small, but at this rate of recovery, Black and Latino women, will be Black and Latino women will be like 10 are experiencing the worst of these losses, right? Nearly like 10% we're 10% down, from last year. So they call it a she-covery, because it's women that are taking the brunt of this pandemic economic loss. So we've got to do what we got to do. It is crazy, So they're going to pass. Congress is going to pass it today, and tomorrow, I believe, Biden is going to sign it into law, and he's going to give his first prime time address from the Oval Office. And it's a huge success for him as the first, the first thing he really tried to accomplish. It's going to buy him some more time. I hope that he can now do some, it's like, I think this is his 50th day, and, of being in office. And I think he still has a lot of hurdles to cross, because obviously, he still has a lot of hurdles to cross, because obviously the the Senate is divided, and that is going to cause a lot of problems. He has to really straddle the middle, which is fine. Nobody said it, progress was going to be easy. On the racial justice front, we have George Floyd's case that is going to be starting at the end of this month. So they're selecting the jury trial as we speak. I want to thank you, George, because your sacrifice has been heated, and there's been a lot of change, a lot of focus on racial equity because of your sacrifice. So, we're really, 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 really thankful to you. And we're thankful to Georgia, because all this race is starting with him, like a real focus on racial equity. And then now Georgia passed elected those two senators, Ossoff and Warnock. And because of that, we were able to pass this stimulus bill. Because of George Floyd and Georgia, we were able to have that racial reckoning. So progress is around a long corner, but it's around the corner. I really do feel, but the devil is a liar, and he never gets tired of lying. And now we have literally, and this is not hyperbole, I'm not exaggerating. We have a new Jim Crow laws being proposed in Georgia and many Republican legislatures across the country, because they saw that the at-will absentee balloting, which is you can just call them up and say, I would like to register and send in my vote via absentee ballot. that they want to end. Automatic registration, that they want to end. There's a lot of things that they want to end. And why do they want to end this? Why do they want to end this? Because we are not, they're trying to nullify our numbers because we're getting too many. So now they want to change the structure of the game so that they can continue to win. These voter suppression laws are, I can't believe this is happening in 2021, but it is. Federal laws are needed, and that is the issue. In fact, looking back, I said this to one of my my brother-in-law. I said, "Yo, what Obama should have passed when he had that supermajority, except for the healthcare, he should have passed the filibuster. He should have destroyed the filibuster then, because that would have made it so that healthcare and a lot of other things could get passed. You know." Or at least lessen it. I know what it means, because that means it could also get passed with, it could also get passed with a Republican. But to do fair and free elections, that is what is protecting our country from. It's supposed to be democracy, majority rules, not minority rules. And this filibuster and all these protections is allowing these last-ditch efforts to stymie the progress. This is going to set us back 20, 30 years if all these laws go into place, because we're not going to be able to elect people again, at least for a while, until our numbers become. So we're going to have to become like, we're going to have to filibuster by population. We're going to have to be like 60% of the population before we can win an election. And that's why we always have the popular vote, right? What's his name? Trump had like 74 million. We had 80. And we just barely won. All right. So we really got to look and take our time with that. Okay. And racism, what's the big story on racism? Funny enough, the biggest story, well, the most sensational story, has been the Harry and Meghan, the British royal family, and the racism, asking, oh, how dark is the child going to be, and all this other stuff. I mean, unbelievable that they don't have security detail. Harry and Meghan and their child are not protected by the royal. I mean, so if they're loved, shouldn't you protect them, because they're still British royals? So what that means is they kidnap the kid or threaten any of them that you don't want to protect, because they can extort. You're leaving the royal family open to extortion and whatever leverage. You're doing all of this rather because of they're Black. So now the Queen put it out that, oh, this is concerning, and we really need to go into details and this and that. But I heard some commentary yesterday. You have to understand that the British monarchy is the epitome and a centuries old epitome of white supremacy, because you can only be the king if you're in the family, and the family is a white family. So this is the closest. So you got to marry into the family. And this is not even the succession line. That is the funny thing about it now. The actual line to be the king is still protected because his older brother is in line for the throne. So Harry is behind the son and the daughter of the other of the king. Harry is the second kid. He's not part of this equation. So you can imagine if that was the case. Oh my goodness. Anyway, That's one of, but the funny thing about people are kind of commenting on the British monarchy and what does that mean and this and that. And I go, you know what? It's actually it. If you look at what it works for, it's like its own real life reality TV show that enables the country to model. So that's what it's like. They model for the rest of the country. What I mean by model means that you follow their example. So you get to see real world things like, so that's why race is coming, because it's just going to be eventually somebody in the family is going to like a black person. That's what it is. Right? And now they have to deal with race as a family. And now we get to watch a whole king and queen deal with it as a race. And this is how things work in a monarchy. And that's the purpose. So we all get to discuss it based on what's happening in real people's lives. It was kind of ingenious, actually, if you think of it from that point of view. Anyway, so that is today's show. Before I go, I would like to talk a little bit about the Afro-American Academy, which is, of course, as you go to our website, www.afroamerican1.org, you will find under our online education, Afro-American Academy. You can subscribe and become a student there, and we will begin to start our first summer session. Like, we had our summer session last year, but we were developing the content. Now we're going to start a full, not a full, but at least we're going to open it up to the community and we're gunning for like 20 students. And we are going to be putting together a full online curriculum for the summer. And we urge everyone to get involved. And for this summer-long Afro-American Culture Initiative camp. That's what it's kind of like. But we're going to do it virtual and in person. So we really want you to think about supporting and what you can do, and reach out to us. But it's going to be real great. I mean, I'm really excited about it. And I think that this is something that we can definitely, that I think that everybody can definitely get behind. So check us out. You can see what the curriculum is, and we're going to continue this curriculum into the for the summer for now, and we're going to try to develop it and see what we can do as an after-school program. But the first things first, right? You have to crawl before you walk. So please check us out. Stay involved. We're going to need mentors. Maybe we're going to need computers, apprentices, things like that. So we're really excited about it. Really excited about it, So please holler at us, Then, all right, now on to our Celtics. Basketball, basketball is my thing. So we just finished the first half of the season. We had the All-Star game over the weekend. It was actually pretty nice, apart from the slam dunk. I think that slam dunk is just getting it just isn't what it used to be. I think we're seeing better dunks in the games now. But the skills contest was fun. The 3-point contest is still the stuff, man. There's no way. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, he won it. It was awesome. Awesome. I mean, it's just, there's nothing. Hey, you just can't get tired of people shooting. And they added this new thing where you shoot from a little bit farther, and actually, I think that was the story of the All-Star game, is the range that some of these people are shooting from. So that was great. The All-Star game itself, Giannis Antetokounmpo took the took the MVP. He was 16 for 16 from the field. It was just a great all-star game because of the shooting. Dame Lillard is the second greatest shooter I've ever seen. And Steph Curry is the number one shooter I've ever seen. And definitely Dame Lillard might be the best clutch shooter I've ever seen, even better than Steph, because I don't really think Steph, Steph does that during the game when you're not expecting it, this and that and the other. But to say go get a bucket, Dame might be your guy. So Team LeBron won 170 to I forget. But it really was a great game. I love the format. I think it was a great idea to do it. We had our all-stars in there, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for his first. Jaylen Brown was showing out. I don't think Tatum was able to, he still scored a lot of points, but he was just like garbage points, little layups underneath the rim. Jaylen Brown was showing out. It was in his hometown. He was an all-star. He was trying to show that he belongs, and boy, did he belong. For our beloved Boston Celtics, I think we're going to be giving away this. We got, I don't know if you can see it, a Boston. We got a ball of the 1990 Boston Celtics team. Can y'all see this? Can y'all see this? Yep. So this has got all of their signatures on there. So we'll be giving this away. For this season, excuse me. For this season, you know what we got to do? We've got to get more consistent. I hope that Jaylen Brown and JT are going to really take the leadership on, but they've got to make other people better. It doesn't matter how many points you get. You've got to make other people better, and then we'll be, I think, maybe not a contender, but at least, and we'll be doing decently good. They're talking about a trade move. I hope they don't get rid of some key people. Don't get rid of Pritchard. Don't get rid of Marcus Smart. Don't get rid of Rob Williams. Kemba, don't get rid of him because you probably won't get anything back in return, but I'm not too opposed to trading him. But get rid of anybody else that's not named. Come on, Semi Ojale. Ojale, yeah. I'm saying Ojale. Tice. You can get rid of some other guys. Don't get rid of Rob Williams. He's untouchable. What he brings as far as vertical spacing is invaluable. You can't find it in the league. Do not give that away. Right? Marcus Smart's supposed to be coming back, and we're playing tomorrow against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, they are tough. Okay, they are tough. They just signed Blake Griffin, who would be a small ball shooting center, and I think he's going to be very dangerous because the fact is that when nobody's guarding you because you got KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving on the same team, he's gonna be anybody you put in that position. Even you might put me if I can run up the court, and I would be good. So the Brooklyn Nets are the favorites. I'm not, and followed by Philadelphia, followed by the Celtics. I believe the Celtics are still third. We started off kind of rough. We're not doing as good as we could be doing, but I don't think it's because of we will not perform, and we have the experience. We just need our stars to really become stars, and everybody needs to realize this is their second and first all-star game. They are kids. They don't know what's going on, right? They just don't. So anybody that wants to sit here and comment and say, oh, they need to be winning now, I would love them to be winning now. But these guys just turned 23. It's until they get to about 25, 26 that you can start saying, all right, guys, this is it. You're in your prime. So they need to be in their second contracts, right? And if they keep this team, this core together for another 5 years, they're going to get a championship. Now, the problem is this year, next year, maybe for the next 2-3 years is what I see the window. That will be very difficult because the Brooklyn Nets are not playing. You add one more great player to the Philadelphia 76ers, it's going to be tough. we need, if you ask me what I think we need, I do think we need, it would be nice if we can get Vucevic, which they're saying is not going to be traded. If we can get Vucevic for a big man that can kind of score, we don't need another wing or somebody to score. You need somebody that can do it on the inside so that they will be spacing. You need to space this bad boy out. And I think if we do that, we can be good. But I don't want us to do something just for doing its sake, because our team is not a big contender, but we're not. I think you have to line up your expectations to go along with where we are at, where our stars are. Our stars are babies. They're just, Jason Tatum is still on his rookie contract. Right now, he's playing on his rookie contract. All right. So I don't think, and so anybody else you want to point to that got their championship early is either somebody like Magic Johnson, but even Magic Johnson was playing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can't really count him. Maybe I think you can count Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but you can't really count Magic Johnson when you're playing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can't count Tim Duncan because Tim Duncan was playing with David Robinson. Who comes in the league and wins the championship their first year? That's just, you can't do that. So if you're going to be the leader of the team, it takes a while. It takes your growing pains. It takes your lumps. And these are what we're going through. So I don't think we should do anything drastic right now when our stars aren't ready to take us to the next level. And they'll get there. But, I mean, let them mature. When they get to like another 2-3 years, I think that's when our window really opens. We're going to have to sign them another contract. You're not in their prime. Can't ask kids to do a grown man's job. All right. So anyway, that has been our report for this week. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the Village Square. I want all of you to remember to go visit our COVID-19 resource hub. All right. I want you to visit our resource hub. Thank you for coming to the Village Square. COVID-19 is still out there. We still must be safe. Remember to be fit, wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, contact trace, vaccinate, right? Go to our COVID-19 resource hub and do the research. Visit www.afroamerican1.org/COVID-19. For more information, email COVID-19@afroamerican1.org. Remember, the Afro-American Culture Initiative is a nonprofit organization. We do independent research, social justice, project management, and we provide educational content. We building cultural bridges in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, go to our website, follow us on Eventbrite, go to all our social media channels, and we'll see you next week. God bless. Be safe.